Hi, this is Dan Smith of DPS Legal Counsel, and welcome to today's video episode and podcast of Legal Scrubs, where I discuss issues of importance and interest to solo and small group practice physicians, business issues, tax issues, things affecting their practices. Yesterday I talked about House Bill 1699 in the Tennessee House of Representatives and what that does or would do if it's passed with respect to telemedicine or telehealth in the state of Tennessee. Today I want to talk about telehealth or telemedicine again, but today's episode is going to discuss an announcement that just came out today, March 17th, 2020, from CMS about telehealth or telemedicine with respect to all Medicare beneficiaries. This is an important announcement. It's going to affect how physicians everywhere in this country can provide telehealth or telemedicine services to their Medicare patients. There are 5 things that you need to know about this new announcement from CMS today. First of all, it allows for any telehealth or telemedicine patient encounter to be not just a check-in type of patient encounter, but it will be, you can do any what you could do in person with the patient, you can do through telemedicine or telehealth and be paid by Medicare for that in-person, essentially what would be an in-person visit with the patient. So in other words, this new announcement is going to allow a telehealth or telemedicine encounter with your patient to be treated exactly like an in-person visit with that Medicare patient. So that's great. You can now do what you could do with any in-person patient encounter, in-person visit with you. You can do that through telehealth or telemedicine. That's number 1. Number 2 is even though the existing rules dealing with telehealth or telemedicine and Medicare beneficiaries have been restricted or limited to certain circumstances, such as the patient needs to be in a rural area, they have to go into an eligible health care facility in order to originate the telehealth visit. Under this new announcement from CMS, that's no longer the case. Any Medicare beneficiary anywhere in the country, city, county, country setting, rural setting, big city setting, urban, whatever, if he or she is a Medicare beneficiary, you can have a telehealth visit with that patient. And additionally, it's not required that the patient go into an eligible healthcare facility in order to originate the telehealth visit. They can do the telehealth visit from the comfort and safety of their own home. So that's a big change. So that's number 2. Number 3 is that as opposed to what are in the existing rules with respect to a requirement that you have an existing patient relationship with a patient that you would be providing telehealth services to, under this new announcement, CMS is saying they will not enforce that requirement, so that you could have a telehealth in-person visit through telehealth with a Medicare beneficiary, and if that's your first encounter with them, that's okay. You don't have to have an existing patient relationship. CMS is not going to audit or enforce that prior patient relationship requirement during this period of time that we have the public health emergency with the coronavirus. So that's number 3. Number 4 is CMS is also not going to enforce the HIPAA requirements as strictly with respect to these telehealth or telemedicine video patient visits that you would have with Medicare beneficiaries, so that you can use your cell phone, your smartphone, and have a patient encounter with your patient, a telehealth or telemedicine patient encounter with your patient through Skype or FaceTime. You don't have to worry about HIPAA or having some kind of secure video conferencing platform. You can use your cell phone, you can use FaceTime, you can use Skype. it's okay. CMS is not going to worry about those HIPAA requirements that might otherwise require you to have a secure video conferencing platform. Again, that's a great thing for doctors. Now you can have these telehealth, teleconference encounters with your Medicare patients on your cell phone, and you're going to be able to get paid just like it was an in-person patient encounter. Lastly, number 5, this new announcement, this new position that CMS is taking with respect to telehealth or telemedicine is basically retroactive back to March the 6th. And so any services that you would provide through telehealth or telemedicine from March the 6th onward are covered by this new announcement. And it's going to be in effect essentially through the time that we're under a public health emergency for the coronavirus. So that's 5 big key points that you need to know about today's notice. So as a doctor, you can have a telemedicine, telehealth, essentially an in-person encounter with your patient and bill for it as an in-person patient visit through Skype or FaceTime on your cell phone. And the patient can be in their own home. They don't have to be in a rural area. You don't have to worry about HIPAA. You don't have to worry about having a prior patient relationship with them. It's a great move by CMS to provide for not only the safety of patients during this period of time with the coronavirus, but allows physicians to be able to help their patients who are Medicare beneficiaries during this time by having patient visits with them strictly by telephone video conference. Okay, that's it for today on today's episode of DPS Legal Counsel's series for physicians in small or solo group practices, Legal Scrubs. We'll see you next time.